Hello, Tim here. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how I whittle a tulip out of a piece of wood. And I cut off of this piece of birch here and hold in a device that I showed you in a previous video, screw it in there, and we're going to turn this into a tulip. So let's get started. This is birch, and I have a tool here that will be talked about in a different video, but these are wood carver screws. Okay, so I have an awl, and what I do is start a hole like this here, and then the bench screw, the wood carving screw, takes over. So I'd probably start by getting the bark off it first. So you can see that how I plant my thumb on here and use it as a fulcrum to push the knife. It's going to have some nice spalting on this piece here, you can see already. It'll add a nice interest in the tulip that I'm carving. So that's how I started. The one I'm going to demonstrate now, I've got it whittled down. This is butternut. I like to look at reference books, and I happen to get this one at the library. Some pictures of tulips. That's kind of what we're going for. And I'm just doing it by eye, so nothing particularly technical. So we'll just get started, and I'm working with two knives, pretty much these two. You could probably do it with a utility knife if that's all you had. So I got the wood carver screw on here, and the reason I have this here is just so I have something to hold on to, because holding on to a little piece like that, you might end up cutting yourself. So you have something larger to hold on to. Now I'm going to start here and just kind of guesstimate a division of 3. And this is what I've done on the other tulips I've carved. But I probably should study them a little bit more to see if that's in fact what they do. But this is the outside leaves. So I'm doing a V-cut here. V-cut here, just give me a reference point. I'm going to switch to my bigger knife here. That other one's a little bit more of a detail knife. So let's see, let's go here. I think I got it too big here, so let's go here. Might be a little too short on this side here. Like I said, I'm just doing it by eye, and I'm not too sure how this is going to look in the end, but I have kind of an idea. So then I'm taking this down, doing a V-cut. In a way, it's not going to matter too much what you do at this point, because you've got plenty of wood to change your mind and do something different, and you can flare it out a little bit or bring it in tighter. But what I've noticed is it kind of comes to a point. This will come to a kind of rounding up like that. So that part I'm going to do right now. There's 2 positions. I'm using my thumb here to plant it. So you want to just be mindful of where that knife is at all times. This position here, and I'm right-handed, so I'm not going to switch the other hand unless I absolutely have to. This is where I'm switching to my detail knife. And so in the picture that I saw, this kind of is a little bit of a, it kind of flares out down there, kind of, I don't know what I call it, maybe teardrop or something like that. So I'm kind of cutting this in. And what I'm trying to demonstrate with just these knives here, there might be other tools like a gouge or something like that, might be a V-tool or something might be useful in this case. It's just that when you're sitting at a campfire or something like that, you want to keep your tool inventory at a minimum so you don't lose track of them. And they're portable. If you put them safely in a tool bag or pouch or something like that, you can carry it with you. And so here's where I'm starting out. So now I'm rounding the bottom a little bit. I'm taking the other crevices here down to the same point. That's the way it's starting to look in the end. All right, now I'm gonna start rounding this over. Going back to my other knife. Keep kind of going toward the middle. Now I'm going to take this tool here, which is an awl that a little bit wider than the other one. It's just a cut nail that's set into a piece of pine wood, and I'm going to work a hole in the top here because it's just like a primitive drill here that I'm doing. And you could use a regular drill bit too, but this is all non-powered whittling here. And the thing about flowers, and if you see my snowflake video, they're not perfect, and it might be a little asymmetrical, but that's okay. So I'm bringing this down here, kind of to the middle. Now I'm going to come in. There'll be another layer of petals here. Which will come up behind this. I see what I'm doing here is I'm kind of cutting this interior petal down from the top here. I'm kind of bringing it to a point. Thinning that out a little bit. You can't never get as thin as a real flower is, or it would break. At least I'd break it. Maybe someone else would be able to do it paper thin. Notice how I keep my thumb planted here, so I control that knife so that it's not, I know where it's going to cut, and I'm putting a lot of pressure on it to get a deeper cut here, but you don't want to slip and cut yourself. So that's why I try to make sure you keep control of it. Now my intention here is just to get this to crown over a little bit, not so flat on top. And my knife is slicing rather than just pushing it straight, so you just kind of make a slicing cut, get a cleaner cut that way. So I'm liking what I see here. I'm going to bring this down a little bit more. Widen this out. I'll do this side. Now I'm going to get this down a little bit more rounded to the bottom here. When you're looking at something like a tulip here, you gotta look at the profile, like the negative space, and see it doesn't have to be symmetric completely, but you got to make sure that it's a pleasing form, that the shape looks right. And I'm not trying to get super detailed. Again, it's just representative of a tulip, and it's whittled, so I want to spend all day with it. Well, for our purposes here, I'm going to call it pretty much done. I'm not going to sand this. I'm just going to burnish some of the fibers a little bit with a tool that I made up. It's actually used for, like, with a nut cracker, and it's a tool for prying a nut open. But it works good as a burnishing tool, so it just kind of gets little chips out of corners and things without cutting the wood. And that's my tulip there. Take this off. And to get the bottom of it, I kind of have to hold it off to get this rounded out. I think I can manage that without creating problems. So get that whittled down. Just kind of create a round bottom to it. Set that aside for a second. And earlier I went out and cut a piece of lilac bush off. This is the fun part here. So I'm going to take a little pruning tool. This is going to be our stem. And what is kind of neat about this stuff here, you take the bark off and it's green underneath there. You know, it looks like a real stem. You carve a little point up there. Just peel the bark off. I guess you can just kind of scrape it. Now it won't stay green, it'll kind of get a little more brownish color over time, but initially it's kind of a cool effect when you use this for your stem. Tulips do have long leaves, but then you can get ambitious and carve the leaves too, but in this case here we're not doing that. I'm just doing the smooth stem part. I think I'm going to shorten this a little bit more. Okay, maybe take it off here. And whittle that to a point, because that's what's going to fit into the hole you made with the bench screw. And there it is, finished tulip. So this is the tulip all finished up that we carved in this week's episode, and I hope you have fun trying it yourself. And thanks for watching. Please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe. See you next time.